Hello writers! This video is going to discuss the steps for paraphrasing for your sources. Let's get started. You already know that paraphrasing is taking a piece of original writing and putting it into your own words. But more specifically, I want you to think about it as a translation. You take a piece of original writing that is written in a certain style with the phrases of another author, and you translate it into what sounds like you. What would come out of your mouth? To illustrate this, I want us to take a look at an example once again from my Marvel movie article. In order to see if this is a proper paraphrase, we want to check that all of the important parts from the original are in my translation. So Sean O'Connell is the original author of the Marvel movie article, and I want to take a look at a couple of his phrases and see how I translate them. So he uses the phrase that the terrain has been sufficiently established over 10 previous Marvel movies. In my version, I say, the director is assuming that viewers have seen the other films in the Marvel universe. So I use my own way of saying that fans have seen a lot of Marvel movies. All right, what else does Sean O'Connell say? Well, one phrase that was really interesting, he says that the director is able to forego any tedious, repetitive introduction and opens Age of Ultron with a bang. So what do I say over in my version? I say there is little introduction in Age of Ultron. So again, it's the same thing except I have just said it in my own words, the fact that there is not a whole lot of introduction in the movie. Now let's take a look at one other section of O'Connell's words. He's working on explaining some of the plot of the movie, and he says, Hydra used the alien stone's magical abilities to experiment on willing human test subjects. So I need to work on my translation of that and kind of boil down what that plot point is. So I say the Hydra agents who possessed it, meaning the stone, had used it for human experimentation. So I think if we take a look at the two different versions here, we have the original author's version on the left and my version on the right. Essentially, what we need to see is that I am keeping the original intent intact and I'm translating it to something that sounds more like me. So we want to keep all of these thoughts in mind, but let's go ahead and take a look at some other things that might make an unacceptable paraphrase. I want you to be careful to not use exact phrases without quotation marks. If you take a look back and you see, oh my gosh, half of this sentence is actually from the original, maybe you need to use quotation marks with it. I want you to be careful also about only rewording sentences slightly. If you take a look at an entire sentence and you've only changed 2 words, that's not enough of your own words. You might need to rework that. All right, and then this is somewhat ineffable. However, if you are taking a look at what you have written and it doesn't really have your feel, it really is keeping the feel of the original, you might need to just start over again. So be careful to not get into too many of these traps. We're going to keep all of these guidelines in mind as we continue on with our research, and I wish you all happy writing.